All right. Likutei Moharan, Torah Yud Gimel. Likutei Moharan, Torah Yud Gimel. We are holding in I think the last paragraph of Seif Hey. All right. Short synopsis. After we explain the Suda Tzedakah, which is a spirit of generosity, you cool off the heat of greed. And we also explained that the Chacham that eradicates his greed perfectly brings about Chesed. And with this, he brings wisdom. Because wisdom can only reside with this Chesed. And with this Das, he elevates all the wants and wills and urges of all the people that come to him. And he brings about a unification of Kocham V'Chushkim. And this brings about a revelation. You want to go to the window? Brings about the revelation of Torah in the world. And when Torah is revealed in the world, the Torah has an aspect of sight. Remember Tanta. It has the Torah, one of the perspectives with how you see Torah. If you remember, we said that every single bechina that Rabbeinu talks about is like, every single Torah Likutei Moharan is like a different, what you call alternative medicine shita, system. So, a pain in the knee, according to Western medicine, can be understood as weakening of the ligaments or whatever, or inflammation or whatever, accumulation of water in the meniscus, whatever it is that in Eastern medicine they would look at it as, that the meridian that brings the flow of vitality to the area is blocked. And once you undo the block, you unblock it. And the unblocking could be the earlobe could be, okay? By putting a pin or pressuring or whatever it is. Then they bring chayas to the area. Once they bring chayas to the area, it cures itself. Doesn't need you. The body cures itself. People forget that the body is being assaulted every single day by gazillion number of germs and poisons and whatnot. When a person gets sick, it's like, a hockey goalie that has what they call the penalty shots in hockey. They have this special penalty.
Power play.
No, power play is what they get, but they have a penalty, like a one-on-one. And the guy has the goalie has a very scanty chance of saving the shot. And if the guy starts from half court and it goes up to him, whatever, it's a penalty shot, all right? So it's like a hockey goalie, withstanding a barrage of 1 million penalty shot, and one goes in. This is when you get sick. The body is incredible with stopping illness. So according to the perspective of Chinese medicine or whatever it is, illness basically tells you that there's a loophole in the antivirus, literally antivirus, of the body that allows, that takes away the body's ability to defend itself. So once you take away the block, the body will take care of itself. So the question, which shita is right? They're both right. It's just a different kind of way of looking at the whole thing. The body is this and it's that, and it's governed by this principle, by that principle, and many, many more. It's like my sister's a graphologist. So graphology can tell people's characters. There is another shita of diagnosing people's health by looking at their irises. Some in reflexology is by looking at their feet or whatever. The point is that the body is one thing. And the body tells its story everywhere, in the irises, in the nails, in the feet, in the whatever. The only question is, do you have a reliable system of diagnostics to be able to interpret the signs? But any which way you're looking at it, if you have the right system, you are able to interpret it. So when the Rebbe looks at one of the representations of Torah is Taman Rashi, Bereshis, Taman Rashi, Taman Bas. The word Bereshis include the word Rashi, which means the patriarchs, the Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Bas is Bas Ein, the three colors of the eye, and in that the Torah has the structure of eyesight, of the mechanism of sight. So when the Chacham brings down the Torah, with the Torah brings down the thing which is the most, which typifies that particular Shefa Torah, is that structure of eyesight. It brings about, what do you mean? What it means it brings about eyesight? It brings about a conduct, a providential conduct of Hashgacha into the world. That's the pshat. When the Chacham brings Torah, it brings about Hashgacha. Okay? Now, we said already that when the Chacham elevates the nefashos that come to him, the souls that come to him, it brings about the rectification of the chariot. From the nefesh point of view, from the Torah point of view, we covered that. Now we're going to show how all this is alluded to in the Maisa of Rabbi Yonah. Shemevi betainis in Gemara Tainis Maisa de Rabbi Yonah. The Maisa of Rabbi Yonah. When the world needed rain, let me bring, with bezuzah and one, in a coin, ibura, bread, He says, let me bring, this instance. He went to a low place, a deep place, like a crevice in the land. In be'asro tzniyo, in a hidden place. Mirsei sako, and he covered himself in sackcloth. And he davened. And rain came. In other words, the story is that he concealed himself. Why is it so dark? We have to do something about this darkness thing. Hey. Okay, maybe this is it, I think. I don't know. I'm trying to. Alright. Sorry, that's what I can do. Rabbi Yonah was very humble He didn't want anybody to know he's davening. So he said, I'm going to buy some, I'm going to buy some this. And he went to a low place, a humble place, a concealed place, cut himself in sackcloth and daven, and the rain came. But al pi remez, and the level of remez, this little story tells a whole different story, so to speak. When the world needs rain, when the world needed Torah. The Torah will come down like rain. Let my Torah come down like rain. So the Torah is called rain. So when there was a need to bring about Torah in the world, Omar Eizim, I'm going to go and bring some wheat, a zuz worth of wheat. Ibura, the word for wheat over here, Ze Bchinas Ein Beis, Resh Yud Vav. These are two names, Shemesh Kodesh, which constitute the letters which are included in the letters of Ibor. Ibor has Ein Beis and Resh Yud Vav. Okay, let's find out what this is. What does it mean? Ein Beis Hu Shikuch. The name of Ein Beis of Gematria 72, which is the name of the Chesed, is Yudke Vavke. Gematria Chesed. This is the spirit of compassion that cools off the greed. Ein Beis is pain killing, is cooling off, is analgizing the pain, so to speak. Resh Yud Vav is Pnat Chamimus, because Resh Yud Vav is 215. Is Gematria Gvura. That alludes to the heat of the heart. So the Av Riv, which means the Chesed quietens down, assuages the Gvura, the Resh Yud Vav. Bezuza, this is the Tavet moment. Zuz is the name of a coin, but Tavet moment. Hayno de Aza. In others. So what it means is that what happened is that he went, the Shakich Tavet moment. What he really wanted to do is he went to obliterate the greed. Okay. And he was standing in a deep place, in a low place. In other words, by the fact that he has eradicated his greed, he was zoiche to a deep place. What is deep place? Shehu b'chinas chesed. A deep place is euphemism for chesed. Because omoik, a deep, it says kemare chamo, amuka minatzeh. So it means that mare chamo means that when the sun shines, you see outside. Yeah. You see there's a place where the sun shines. Yeah. Then you have the shadow. So he says, Mare Chamo, when the sun shines, it looks deeper than the shaded area. Yeah. So it says, Kemare Chamo, Amuka Minatzer, the place where the sun shines on, it looks deeper, looks lower than the shadow. The chesed is the aspect of Orion. We know that the light of day is a euphemism to plenty, to compassion, to generosity. Hashem will, in the day, he orders out his chesed. The chesed comes out. The light of the day looks deeper than the shadow. That's why the word amoik, the word deep, signifies chesed. So he went to he was zoichet to a mokum omek, to a mokum of chesed, to a place of chesed. Valadei chesed zochol abinin abayis, and by bringing about this bounty of chesed, he was zoichet to the construction of his own private Beis Hamikdash. The B'china Seichel, he was zoichet to Seichel. Because we said, before, anybody that has Seichel, he says, Kel Deres Hashem. And he says, in one place it says that the Deus has Kel and Hashem before and after, and the Mikdash has Kel and Hashem before and after. The Gemara says anybody who has a true Das, it's as if Beis Hamikdash was built in his time. Because what is Beis Hamikdash? Beis Hamikdash is the converter, the connecting link between the world and Hashem. It's the conduit, it's the interface. So if you have true Das, what is a Das? Das teaches you how to come close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So your Das is your Beis Hamikdash. So once he was zoichet to Chesed, he was zoichet to his own construction of his own Beis Hamikdash. Now he was zoichet to true Das, the B'china Seichel. This is a concealed place. Makom Tzanua, this is Beis Hamikdash. Shehu HaSeichel, this is the Seichel from which Beis Hamikdash, this is the place where Torah comes out of the world. Sanhedrin used to sit in Azor, Beis Hamikdash, this is where Psak Halacha is to come to the world. And the Torah came out of Beis Hamikdash, because that was the most auspicious place to be masig what Hashem really wants, does what Hashem really wants, come close to Hashem. Shua Seichel. Shekosov es hatznuim chochma, those that are humble, those that are modest, chochma. The modest ones are zoichet to chochma. That's why Mokum Tzanua, a modest place, a covered place, is a moshel, is a euphemism for chochma. This is the aspect of Beis Hamikdash. V'ave michsei sako, and he was covered with sackcloth. That is the action. Him covering himself in sackcloth is the remez, the hint of taking the nefashos and elevating them. He who takes nefashos, he is a chacham. They say that people in this world, they're busy gathering. So people gather money, people gather fame, people gather art. But anybody who is a true chacham, what does he gather? He gathers nefashos, that he brings them closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu. V'lokeach nefashos is chacham. A chacham is the one somebody who has the wisdom and use this time of the time of this world, to bring people to close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Don't waste your time with, gathering shtuyot that you're going to leave behind anyhow. So v'lokeach nefashos chacham. V'klalios and nefashos, in the totality, the overall existence of the souls, they are euphemistically called sak. Actually, the word is over here is shin kuf, but not from the noun of sackcloth, al pi emes, but the verb of shak, of hashkoah, of watering.
Shak is to water.
Lahashkos ilonis, that's what in the Maaseh Mechillah, Rabbeinu says, that the Chacham told his children, he says, you can do whatever you want, but your main work in life is to water trees. Lahashkos ilonis. It says, V'shem echad Damesek Eliezer, the slave of Avraham Avinu was Eliezer. His name is Damesek Eliezer. Bem is Damesek Eliezer. What's Damesek Eliezer? There's no Damascus. Rashi says, Shedoyle umashke mitoras rabbi. That Damesek Eliezer, he would bring about, he would draw and pour out and give people to drink from the Torah of his Rebbe. So you see that Shin K of the Mesek is talking about is about watering, giving to drink, pouring Torah, giving to Torah to drink. Kihem the nefoshes mis'adnim mishakel denachlo. The nefoshes are reaching a sublime state from the watering of the brook. Bivchinas v'isbia betzachzachos nafshecha, and Hashem will satisfy your soul as if you ate and drank with the light of tzachzachos. What we said before, if you remember, that the tzaddik gathers all the scattered ritzoinus of the nefesh all over, and he elevates the nefesh, and this brings about a reflection of amazing supernal light, which is called or tzachzachos. A light of, I'm sorry, you're going to hear some really loud scratching in the recording. I'm sorry. This is Bia Batzachzachos Nafshecha. Hashem has satisfied your nefesh with tzachzachos, and this polished light, this sublime light of tzachzachos, which is the light that come from the Kesel, is the aspect of the brook that is watering and satiating the thirst of the nefesh. That's the illumination of the sphere of Bina that waters the soul, that satisfies the soul, it satisfies perched souls. By bringing about the sak, the nefoshes, this brings about rain. In other words, that he brought about Torah through the elevation of the nefoshes, and what comes down is the might of her trust. This is the Torah. For each one, what he needs. That's what the Rebbe is doing now as we learn in Likutei Moharan. Rabbi Nachman explains one of the 17 rules of learning Likutei Moharan is that when the Rebbe said the Torah, but by the way, this particular mechanism is not that the Rebbe told certain thing that was known before, only the Rebbe just revealed it the way it is in other Sfarim. The Rebbe constructed that mechanism of the Chochem elevating, whatever it is, that thing that he brought it into construction. So when the Rebbe said the Torah, this thing was taking place. And every time you learn the Torah now, we're learning the Torah, with Kashas to Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Menachem ben Fege, these tikkunim are happening now. The Rebbe is taking our nefoshes right now, and he's bringing them up. And the Eredos Miftach, and we get the Torah according to what you need, according to what I need. You have things to do in your life. I have things to do in my life. You can have a wife and children. I have wife and children. How to handle them, how to handle this, how to handle that. In your course in life, right now, this is what is taking place. And at Hashem, we will continue tomorrow. Dun, 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 dun.